Hey everybody, Heroes310 here, back with another video. So in this video, I wanted to ask, what if the Phoenix Force from the Fox X-Men movies, or basically X-Men Dark Phoenix, was in the MCU? Well, let's go over what the Phoenix Force is. The Phoenix Force is a vast cosmic, is a very powerful cosmic entity with vast energy manipulation and psionic powers. This Phoenix Force is capable of easily destroying planets, and it travels throughout the universe. The Phoenix Force has the shape of a giant fiery phoenix and can often bond with hosts. Keep that in mind. So with all that being said, the Phoenix Force, when bonded with its host, seems to increase their physical attributes such as speed, durability, and strength, and also boost whatever powers they have. Now, it seems that the Phoenix Force generally only bonds to people with psychic abilities best, but it can bond to other beings as well. So, if the Phoenix Force was in the MCU, I believe there are two people it would bond with, or could be like good candidates for it to bond with. The second one is better than the first one, but whatever. And it really wouldn't change the story too much, but if it bonds with the first one, but if it bonds with the second one, then yes, it would change the story in a major way. So who are these two candidates? Who are the two people I see the Phoenix Force bonding with in the MCU? Well, that's going to be none other than MCU Captain Marvel and MCU Scarlet Witch. Now, like I said, the second one is more likely and a better candidate than the first. So let's start with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is very, very powerful. She travels throughout the universe being a superhero to basically all the alien races in the galaxy. She's like the Avengers for space. So it's highly likely she would run into the Phoenix Force, because the Phoenix Force will easily gain a reputation, kind of like the Kree did. And Captain Marvel, I can see her, because Captain Marvel is very powerful, but she's also very cocky and arrogant. I see her going to try to challenge the Phoenix Force, and I don't think Captain Marvel can beat the Phoenix Force, because Captain Marvel was overwhelmed by the Power Stone, and the Phoenix Force can easily replicate what the Power Stone does, in the case that it can destroy a planet. But still, but it might bond with her. Now, it should be noted that when the Phoenix Force seems to be a force of destruction and somewhat evil. If the Phoenix Force bonds with someone, it probably I don't know. I think it would cloud either Captain Marvel or and Wanda's mind. Wanda definitely so, but Captain Marvel might be able to resist it or fight it a bit. But I think it would definitely make her more violent, more aggressive. And again, it might have just make her outright evil. Now, if that happens, nobody can really stop Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel's already a monstrous powerhouse as it is. You boost her by the Phoenix Force, I mean, she's hell walking on the universe. I mean, that would be a nightmare. I don't think she would gain psychic powers, but it would definitely make her energy blast more powerful. Like, Captain Marvel is said to be able to punch a hole through a planet. She gets bonded to the Phoenix Force. She might be able to punch a hole through a solar system. I mean, you never know. Or punch a hole through a star. But anyway, so if it bonds with Captain Marvel, how does the story change? Well, not so much. Let's say Captain Marvel doesn't become evil. Okay, cool. Remember, Captain Marvel was up in space all that time, and she really did nothing about Thanos or his army, despite the fact that he was going around, slaughtering half of all life on planets like he was a warlord. So, and yeah, I know this is because Captain Marvel came in much later than Thanos. She came in towards the middle to current MCU. I get it, continuity wise, but if we're going in lore, she probably wouldn't do anything. Well, in that case, she probably wouldn't do anything about the Phoenix Force either, but the Phoenix Force would still seek her out. So that's pretty much it. Now, once Endgame, the stuff with Endgame happened, that's when we really see what Captain Marvel could do. But, yeah, well, no, Endgame would still happen the same, because Thanos would destroy the stones regardless, and they would have to do it. Yeah, so nothing really happens. Actually, during the final fight in Endgame, Tony Stark might not die because Captain Marvel, powered by the Phoenix Force, might have been powerful enough to put Thanos down. And then she could have finished off his army, so Tony would have never had to do the snap. But that's pretty much that. Now, on to the second option, Scarlet Witch. I'm almost, I'm like 30% sure that Phoenix Force would bond with Captain Marvel, but I'm 100% sure he would bond with Scarlet Witch. And you know what? Honestly, let's keep it how it's going. Let's say it is that, when I say keep it how it's going, let's match up the timelines. In X-Men Dark Phoenix, the Phoenix Force came to Earth's sun. So I believe it would do the same in the MCU. It would come to the sun of Earth, but the Avengers would be there. Now, the Avengers probably wouldn't go to the Phoenix Force. Because we never really see the Avengers doing spacefaring stuff. So, I don't see the Avengers getting up there and doing something like that. They weren't even in space until the end of the series. But I believe that Wanda, with her emotional instability and her sad, how sad, just like all the trauma she went through with her powers, because her power does gets a massive boost once Pietro dies, I believe. I believe she unleashes a massive psychic wave. I could see Wanda attracting the Phoenix Force to Earth. Wanda would basically be the Jean Grey in this universe. Now, let's pick a time for when the Phoenix Force bonds with Scarlet Witch. Well, if the Phoenix Force, I would say right around the end of Age of Ultron is when the Phoenix Force would come to her. Now, let's not forget, the MCU Infinity Stones are still in this universe. So, Wanda would essentially become a being, I could see at the end of Age of Ultron, Pietro dies, Wanda just snaps, unleashes a massive psychic wave, the Phoenix Force comes, and the Phoenix Force bonds with Wanda. Well, Wanda will become a being who has magic enhanced by a cosmic Infinity Stone and is now empowered by the cosmic Phoenix Force. She would be, even though she wouldn't have the knowledge of her magic background, and she wouldn't have the Darkhold and all her training and stuff that she does now, if she got the Phoenix Force, Wanda would be a match for current Wanda. She could put up a good fight. Now, she probably wouldn't win because current Wanda abilities, but she'd be a match. She would gain her telekinetic, telepathic, empathetic, and illusion casting powers or mind control powers would all be God tier. She could probably mind control an entire city if she wanted to. No. An entire state if she wanted to. She would become more durable, much more powerful. But then the Phoenix Force might actually drive her evil relatively soon because she's still fresh off guilt. But there's a chance that the other Avengers and Vision could save her. Because remember, Scarlet Witch didn't Jean Grey didn't start snapping immediately. It took a while for the Phoenix influence to get over on her. So, yeah. But there's a chance that she could still fall for Vision and that they could still, start doing things. But the only big difference with Scarlet Witch is, Scarlet Witch is most definitely going to become evil. That's just a most definite going to happen. Because we've seen that she's emotionally unstable, as we saw in Doctor Strange 2. She's emotionally unstable, sorry. Doctor Strange 2. It's just a matter of when she becomes evil. And it's possible, if she does become evil, the Sorcerer, if she becomes evil, right after she gains the Phoenix Force, during the Age of Ultron period, the Sorcerers would probably step in and stop her, and they would succeed because they would have the Time Stone. But let's switch it a bit. Let's say the Phoenix Force bonds with her during the Civil War period. Now, this is more interesting because this is when her and Vision are starting to gain feelings for each other. They fight. The Civil War would be over. Scarlet Witch would destroy Team Iron Man. Everybody would go to the Civil War facility. Everyone would go to this facility where Barry Strucker is housing people and housing the super soldiers, and they would bust in together. They'd fight together, and they'd stop whatever Baron Strucker was doing. And eventually, and that would pretty much just be that. Would be that. They honestly, Strucker, Iron Man might not even get the chance to be there because he would have been restrained. So the fight between Cap and Bucky might not have happened. But again, eventually the Phoenix's power its dark nature would overwhelm Wanda, and eventually Wanda would become evil, and the Avengers would have to contend with a violent Scarlet Witch. And I think that the attack in Lagos could also trigger that in Wanda, with the bombing with the Wakandan citizens. But it should be noted at the end of X-Men Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey was able to gain control of the Phoenix. So let's add one more thing before I end this video out. Let's say somehow, some way, Wanda's just built different than Jean. Wanda doesn't become evil because Wanda is enhanced. I think base Wanda is stronger than base Jean just because she has the Infinity Stone amped to her magic. So let's say Wanda doesn't become violent. She doesn't become crazy. She doesn't become evil. Well, then the story would relatively continue how it was. Iron Man would probably run some tests on her. I forgot to mention that. But anyway, Civil War would still be the same. Civil War would be stopped. But if Thanos ever came to Earth, he wouldn't get the stones. He'd die on Earth. Wanda would kill him. Thanos, even if he had the power in Space Stone, would be no match for I don't think he could beat a Phoenix Force powered Scarlet Witch. I think she would be too much for him. I think it would be at least 3 stones. It would take 3 stones to beat her, because remember, this is Wanda's powers are already amped by the Mind Stone. But then she'd have the Phoenix Force, a planetary destroying, cosmic entity, backing her up. There's a lot of ways this can go, and I don't want to drag this video on for too long, but I humbly believe Wanda would eventually become evil and they would have to fight her. This is Hero 310. Hope you enjoyed this video. All right, no. Let me redo that. That's a terrible way to end this video. I don't want to rush the ending. Okay, let me get some brief pointers. What would happen if the Phoenix Force was in the MCU and it bonded with Wanda? Because I believe it would most likely bond with her. Well, that depends on when and where it bonds, which period. If it bonds around Age of Ultron, Wanda's likely she likely becomes evil relatively shortly after that, and they have to battle the Phoenix. Now, this Wanda's kind of young and inexperienced, and just and she's just, she's got a lot going on at this point, so she might not be able to overcome its influences. But if it bonds with her around the time of Civil War, that's a bit different, because of everything that would be going on. Like Team Cap would easily defeat Team Iron Man in the Civil War, and then the super soldiers are never killed. We might have more super soldiers in the MCU because of that. Super soldiers are never killed, but shortly after that, because Wanda might not become evil in that time period, because the effects won't take. She'll have the love of Vision and the help of her of the other her teammates, stopping her from becoming evil. But her powers would be noticeably more powerful. I think she'd be able to solo the entire Team Iron Man. So what happens? But there's another thing that I forgot to mention in the first part of this video. If the Phoenix bonds with Wanda after Infinity War, that would be. She could also stop Thanos during Infinity War if it came like that Civil War, if she overcomes the evil influences. But if it's after Infinity War, during the time when her power explodes, and the Phoenix Force could trigger an early power explosion for her. But if it's during the time of WandaVision, God help us all. Wanda would be unstoppable. As I alluded to in the earlier parts of the video, Wanda could potentially have a power explosion, like she did in by power explosion, I mean what she had in WandaVision, when she was overcome with grief, that she just unleashed a massive amount of magical power, and that attracted the attention of that attracted the attention of what's her name? Agatha Harkness, right? There is so much that could happen that I'm probably going to have to make a second video on this. Like, I probably shouldn't have talked about Captain Marvel in this, because now that I think about it, the Phoenix Force bonding with Wanda will probably make her power felt all over the planet. If that was the case, everyone would notice. The Sorcerer Supremes, Agatha Harkness, no matter what period the Phoenix bonded with her, Wanda will become a beast once she unleashed that first amount of actual power. So this is interesting, but let's go back to what I'm saying. Let's say it happens around the time of WandaVision. So Infinity War has passed and Vision was killed. Wanda is in grief. She unleashes a massive amount of. This is the period that's most likely to gain the power to gain the Phoenix's notice if it's at Earth. In her big grief, she goes to New Jersey. I believe she's at New Jersey, and she just unleashes that massive hex wave. The energy is felt by the Phoenix. It comes down. It bonds with her. Agatha Harkness would crap her pants, because let's not forget. Basically, the entire plot of WandaVision was caused by Agatha Harkness, who found Wanda's little rift or her hex and went in and started messing things up. Now, I don't think Wanda will become evil right off the bat because she would be in the hex. She would have created the hex and got bonded to the Phoenix at the same time, in my opinion. So there's a possibility Wanda might not have even known she was bonded with the Phoenix, but she would eventually find out. But so she would have her perfect life, so she would be happy. So like I say, she doesn't go evil right off the bat. But her powers, I mean, they go massive. They just explode, right? She becomes unrivaled. Worse than Thanos with 3 Infinity Stones. Wow, remember, the plot of WandaVision, Agatha was trying to take Wanda's power to become the Scarlet Witch herself. Agatha might discover the Phoenix Force. She might try to do something, and I think Wanda just destroys her. And in fact, instead of imprisoning her at the end, I think Wanda just straight up kills her. Now, from beyond that, when she starts to learn about her magic and stuff, and truly get into her powers, this is when we see how much of a monster she is. I don't think Wanda, because Wanda as the Scarlet Witch, she's already twice as strong as the Sorcerer Supreme. Man, boosted by the Phoenix Force. Not only is Wanda going to easily dispatch of the Kamata, honestly, I think Doctor Strange 2 still happens. She gets the Darkhold, she uses the magic, she learns magic, becomes more and more powerful. She tries to target America Chavez to get her kids back. But it's possible she might just be able to remake her kids using the Phoenix Force. She might, it's a lot with that, but But let's say she don't. Let's say Doctor Strange 2 still happens. Well, God help Doctor Strange, because he can't do nothing. Doctor Strange can't do nothing. Wanda, I still see him going to her for help, and then she reveals that she's actually after America Chavez. But I think Wanda actually is going to capture America this time when she goes to Kamar-Taj. I literally see it could be a possible thing. Like, her energy powers could be boosted to such an extent that once they put up the massive shield in front to stop her, she just blasts straight through. Like, she doesn't really even, bat an eye at it or anything. She just blasts through and just keeps it moving. Now, it should be noted that the only thing really boosted from the Phoenix Force would be her telekinetic, her and her matter manipulation, her energy manipulation. I don't think her reality warping would get too much of a boost, but there would be nothing anybody could do. Like, Wanda, eventually she would become evil and she would just be a force to be reckoned with. I do think she would end up taking America Chavez's powers and she just travel the multiverse. But the Phoenix Force would never let her be satisfied. She just, she'd be worse than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, this is Hero 310. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, I'm for real this time. I'm ending the video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.